The Tower of Babel. Etymology. The phrase Tower of Babel does not appear in Bible. It is always the city and the tower, or just the city. The original derivation of the name Babel, also the Hebrew name for Babylon, is uncertain. According to the Bible, the city received the name Babel from the Hebrew verb belal, meaning to jumble or to confuse. The story of Tower of Babel can be found in Sumerian and Assyrian, Greco-Roman, Mexico, Arizona, Cherokee, Nepal, Botswana, and many other traditions. We will discuss here what has been found in terms of Old Testament and the Islamic tradition. The Tower of Babel in Judeo-Christianity. According to the New International Version of Bible, the story, a united human race in the generations following the Great Flood, speaking one language and common speech. As people migrating eastward, they found a plain land in Shinar and settled there. There they agreed to build a city and a tower tall enough to reach heaven, so that they may make a name of themselves. Otherwise, they will be scattered over the face of the whole earth. God, observing their city and tower, confounds their speech so that they can no longer understand each other, and scatters them around the world. In amplified version of Bible, in accordance of Genesis chapter 11 verse 6 to 7, it is mentioned as, "And the Lord said, Behold, they are one unified people, and they all have the same language. This is only the beginning of what they will do in rebellion against me. And now no evil thing they imagine can do will be impossible for them. Come, let's go down and confuse the people with the different languages. Then they won't be able to understand each other." After seeing the city and the tower that the united people of the earth had built, God does not dismiss their efforts as weak and futile. Instead, He acknowledged that by working together, humanity would can accomplish whatever they set out to do. This, of course, leads to an immediate question. Why is that a problem? Why would God stand opposed to such unified productivity? The answer is in mankind's capacity to turn gifts into curses and abilities into abuses. Such thing has happened before, as mentioned in Genesis chapter 3, verses 17 to 19. Also, the flood had not changed the nature of sinful human beings. God's observation in Genesis chapter 6, verse 5 to 7 still applies to the hearts of humans left to themselves as follows. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. The Lord regretted that He had made human beings on the earth, and His heart was deeply troubled. So the Lord said, I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race I have created, and with them the animals, the birds, and the creatures that move along the ground, for I regret that I have made them. A powerfully united humanity inclined to do evil could accomplish great wickedness. No matter how perverse, outrageous, or ridiculous something might seem, mankind can and will attempt it, given the opportunity. The above verses reveal that God has no plans to give humanity that kind of opening. Tower of Babel in Islam. Although not mentioned by name, the Holy Quran has a story with similarities to biblical story of the Tower of Babel. Although set in the Egypt of Moses, Pharaoh asks Haman to build him a stone tower so that he can mount up to the heaven and confront the God of Moses. In the Holy Quran, it is mentioned as Pharaoh said, O nobles, I do not know that you have any God beside myself. Haman baked bricks out of clay and built a lofty palace for me so that I can may mount up and be able to observe the God of Moses, even though I believe that Moses is a liar. Another story in the Holy Quran mentions the name of Babil, but tells of when the two angels Harut and Marut taught magic to some people in Babylon and warned them that magic is a sin and that their teaching them magic is a test of faith. The Holy Quran, it is mentioned, they followed what the shaitan gave out falsely of the magic in the lifetime of Sulaiman. Sulaiman did not disbelieve, but the shaitan disbelieved, teaching men magic and such things that came down at Babylon to the two angels. Teaching men magic and such things that came down at Babylon to the two angels Harut and Marut. But neither of these two angels taught anyone such things till they had said, we are only for trial, so disbelieve not by learning this magic from us. And from these angels, people learn that by which they cause separation between man and his wife. But they could not thus harm anyone except by Allah's leave. And they learned that which harms them and profits them not. And indeed, they know that the buyers of magic would have no share in the hereafter. And how bad indeed was that for which they sold their own selves, if they but knew. Chapter 2, named Surah Al Baqarah, verses 102 Al Quran. A tale about Babel appears more fully in writings of Yaqut and the Lisan al-Arab, but without the mentioning of tower. It was mentioned, mankind were swept together by winds into the plain that was afterward called Babel, where they were assigned their separate languages by God, and were then scattered again in the same way. In the history of the prophets and kings by the 9th century Muslim theologian Al-Tabri, a fuller version is given as follows. Nimrod has the tower built in Babel. God destroys it, and the language of mankind, formerly Syriac, is then confused into 72 languages. Another Muslim historian of the 13th century, Abu al-Fida, relates the same story, adding that the patriarch Eber, an ancestor of Abraham, was allowed to keep the original tongue, Hebrew in this case, because he would not partake in the building of the Tower of Babel. Although variations similar to the biblical narratives of the Tower of Babel exist within Islamic tradition, the central theme of God separating humankind on the basis of language is alien to Islam, according to the author Yahi Emrick. In Islamic belief, he argues God created nations to know each other and not to be separated. Thank you for your precious time for watching this. Here we conclude the part 4. We will start with the origin of language and its evaluation from the perspective of science in the next part. Stay home and stay safe.